Good morning and welcome to the 16th of December 2020. This is Chat Canna. Have you heard? It's Wednesday. Where is the time going? I always remember as a youth, as we were counting the days down to when we didn't have school anymore. And when I was very young, they gave us 2 weeks at Christmas time. And then somehow they started narrowing that down. We didn't get our full 2 weeks anymore because they wanted to I don't know, have us in school more. We were learning more or something. I'm not sure how that went. But the old days were really fun because we got 2 whole weeks at Christmas time. And there was more weather back then. There was more storms and significant snow. My goodness, it snowed back then. And we only had a scoop in our yard, an M, if you know the international line, and an M. Yeah, we had an M. Was it an H? No, we had an M. But Uncle Edward had a super M. I think it had diesel. But we had an M, and then we had a bucket on the front, but it only lifted. It went down through gravity, and the bucket just pulled. You weren't able to go like they do now. The bucket just dropped. And my dad, and then when I got to be about 12, moved mountains and mountains of snow with that. Because back in those years, we had so much snow. When we got our first snowmobile, you could go anywhere you wanted. If I wanted to go up to my cousin Ron, Uncle Edward's place, it was northwest, and you just went that way. If you wanted to go to Clarence's, my dad's cousin, didn't think of him as an uncle because he was not in the direct family, but you just went that way. If you wanted to go, I mean, we had fence rows down here, but it didn't matter because the snow just blew right over them, and you just went in any direction that you wanted to go. In the last 40 years, you can't do that. There's not enough snow to do that. And like, you can't go straight east because there is a significant ditch. And you might be able to go through it where there's a T ditch coming into it on the other side, but you certainly can't just cross it going with any speed, or you would hit the other side, kaboom. So things have certainly changed in the weather patterns. Why? I don't know. Who to blame? Don't know. Not my area of expertise. There's a whole lot of people, a whole lot smarter than me, that are deciding this. If you watch Neil deGrasse Tyson and his Cosmos series, my goodness, that's a show and a half. It's on Tuesday nights now, I think. And this is Ace. He chooses when he wants to come and be on television. There he is. He's quite the cat. He does not belong to us, and he should go back home. But we put him out, and then about midnight, he is outside the door screaming and hollering when he's got a perfectly good place to go, and warm, and food, and people who love him. Yeah. Anyway, today for Chat Canna, it is about hemp seeds. And of course, if you're growing for CBD, you don't want seeds, but you do get plants that have seeds in them. And they are just wonderful. Even if you're a small farmer and you get some handfuls, you get like 10% of your plants that generate seeds for some reason. Don't throw them away. You can do just a whole lot of things with them. If nothing else, bring them in and toast them and crack them open, because the inside of those hemp seeds, which have what we call nuts, are unbelievable. Now, you can eat them raw, of course, but you know, any kind of a nut is just so much better. No wires. No. Of all the things you can do, you can't play with the wires on my headset. No. And you can make milk out of them, like they make milk for soy milk or almond milk. They, of course, can be squeezed if you have a quantity of them, and you can make hemp oil. Now, hemp oil is way different than CBD oil. It is completely different, as a matter of fact. Hemp oil has been used for a century or more. Its most valuable asset is that it can be used in super high-speed bearings. They can't make synthetic oil as good as hemp oil is in bearings that are turning at, and I don't know what are the speeds in a super high-speed bearing, 40,000 RPM, 60,000 RPM. but those extremely, incredibly fast RPM bearings. You know, that's a thing that people don't realize. But how fast do you think the wheels in your car go round and round? People think of them as turning really fast, but believe it or not, they don't turn fast at all. Your car probably has a 10-foot circumference. And so if it's 10 feet and you're going 55 miles an hour, and there's 5,000, or let's say you're going 52 miles an hour, and there's 5,280 feet in a mile, that means your car tire is turning 520 revolutions per minute. That's just nothing. I mean, that's almost, in the world of the cosmos or high-speed bearings, that's almost standing still. So imagine the difference of that and 50,000 RPM, or the super high speeds of what can happen. So we're talking about hemp oil, and that's one of its uses, of course. You can actually make a cheese substitute out of hemp oil. We'd like to find a recipe for that if anybody's got that. And of course, you can grind it, dry it, and you end up with a protein powder, no different than the protein powders that weightlifters use or that cooks use to make kind of a flour to do some cooking with. And it is gluten-free, by the way. So there's no THC in it. It's so minimal that it's not discoverable unless you are needing to be taking some kind of tests or something where they're testing for, you know, the 1 in a billion component. They also use it to make salves for topical applications to treat certain health issues. And, you know, it's just been around a long, long time for that. So what do you do? Well, we've talked about how to do that. What's inside of it? That's the interesting thing. I got to go past a whole bunch of commercials here to get to that. But here's the interesting thing. For an ounce of it, there's 166 calories. So that puts it right in the nut family, just generally. By the way, you know, they did a bunch of research, and Seventh-day Adventists are really health conscious. It's part of their religion, and they eat a lot of nuts, cashews, pecans, walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts. It just kind of comes out as part of their religious following. And so doctors can do a study on them against the regular population. And they have found that they tend to live longer and have better lives. And one of the things that they attribute it to is that they reach for a handful of nuts every day. Seems crazy, doesn't it? Well, here we go. This is some of the reason why. In hemp nuts, yeah, there's 166 calories. There's 9.5 grams of protein. There is almost 15 grams of fat. But it is the good fats. It's the fats that we want for our cholesterol. Is it the LDL or HDL? I don't know which, but it's the good stuff. 2.6 carbs, 1.2 grams of fiber, and, you know, less than 0.5 gram of sugar. But here's also what's really, really great with this. Hemp seeds are a good source of iron, vitamin E, manganese, and magnesium. They are two different things, by the way. If you were paying attention back in science class, they burn differently. Manganese and magnesium, also your V vitamin complex, and zinc. And also in there, you can find a high level of omega-3, omega-6. Those are your essential fatty acids that we are looking for when we are eating salmon. So you put this all together. The ideal ratio of the fatty acids in hemp is 3:1. This is something that they want as far as supporting a healthy cholesterol diet, immune system function, and they even say that it helps regulate your metabolism. Wow, it sounds like kind of a miracle plant, doesn't it? But yet the government took it away from us 70 years ago. Just think if we'd been studying this thing all the way along here rather than jumping in here at the end. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, and it is all well absorbed by our body. It keeps seeming like to be this miracle, doesn't it? Hemp seeds, a great source of magnesium, which we talked about. That regulates your heartbeat, linked to the prevention of coronary heart disease. Linoleic acid. One study has found that reduces your cholesterol levels by as much as 15% and can help reduce blood pressure. It just goes on and on. This is all found in this little nut that's inside the hemp seed. Anti-inflammatory properties. There's your omega-6 fatty acids. It's gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, and that's what they're looking for in anti-inflammatory stuff. It's in ibuprofen. That's what makes you feel better when you take some ibuprofen. 75% reduction in arthritic-associated pain in participants after being on 9 months of a GLA supplement. So right there in your hemp seeds. Skin conditions. Put it on topically to your skin. It's found that hemp seed oil can relieve the symptoms of eczema. We had a family member that from the time they were like 4 years old, just scratched and were in pain for years until they were adults. It was terrible. Hemp seed, of course, we talked about it yesterday. Antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory effects, can even help treat acne. Get the oil, rub it on your face, leave it there overnight, wash it off in the morning. Now let's move up to the brain. Let's talk about the brain. Cognitive health. The terpenes we talk about, that's the fragrance. That's what gives us the fragrance for everything. No matter what business you're in, no matter what chemicals you're in, if it's Mr. Clean, cleans your whole house and everything that's in it, they're still talking about what are the terpenes. The terpenes that we want to have when you open the cap and it fills the room with smell. The terpenes that do the cleaning, or the chemicals in the thing that do the cleaning, and the chemicals that go in the air that the customer smells might be two different things. This is carefully determined when the products are made. No different than when you pop a can of soda. What's in the soda that tastes good and they want to hook you with, like the sugar. Completely different than what goes into the air with the fizzy stuff that you first smell and go, oh, can't wait till I have that first taste of the soda. This is all carefully calculated, but the terpenes, they are suggesting now, they do know that some of them protect the brain and prevent tumors in the brain. We got to do a whole lot more research on this. This is in the, I don't want to say mumbo jumbo, but this is in the early stages of finding out why people historically, going back hundreds of years, have attached themselves to smells like lavender and lemon and lime and orange and papaya. We call them by their names, but it's really their smells. Lime is limonel, lemon is lemonel. These are the terpenes. These are the chemicals. And by the way, you can get them without having the product. That's why when you order a frozen banana cheapy thing, it's got the banana terpene in it, but without the rest of the banana behind it, it tastes way different, right? Because they just pulled one of the banana flavors out of it. They don't have the rest of them in it, and that's why it tastes the way it does. Hey, there you go. Now let's go to the potential risks of hemp seed, and we know that they exist too. There's just no doubt about that. Here's what you have to be careful for. The first question I ask when I'm talking to somebody about hemp, there's one question that I ask right away, and this is the important one. If you're in the hemp business of any kind and somebody wants to start taking a hemp product, especially internally, are you on any blood thinners? First question, right out the gate. It's because of the fats that are in the hemp seed, and they can interact with certain medications, particularly anticoagulants. Hemp seeds already reduce blood clotting, so then you have blood thinners that you're already taking. That's where you want to talk to a doctor. If somebody's on warfarin, what's the other one? Right away, I will not sell them anything. Won't give them anything. Tell them you got to go talk to your doctor. Other people don't care. Sell you anything. We are really careful about that. That's the one thing we know. There's not enough clinical research about hemp and women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. Not that it's bad. I personally don't think it's bad, but we have to know. We have to know. So we don't know about. Those are the two things. And you know, when you think about this product that has been around all of these years and doing all of these things, and those are the two sort of limitations, that's just amazing. Think of the advertisements you hear for other drugs. May not be taken with this and this and this and this and this, and may cause this and this and this and this and this. They got 600 things that you have to be aware of, be careful of, and may cause. And here we have this plant that was given to us naturally here on Earth. The next most natural thing you can take to beer. That's a joke, you know. There's t-shirts that say, God made hemp, man makes beer, you decide. But you know, beer, the real beer in Germany has 4 ingredients in it. Water. I was saying what's in my hand. Water, barley, hops. This is from the cat. It's not something on my hand. Water, barley, hops, and yeast. And in the old days, they didn't even know about yeast. That just happened accidentally, but now we very carefully know. And they use a certain kind of yeast to get a certain kind of beer flavor. Those are the 4 things that are in beer, nothing else. And in Germany, there are 1,300 breweries that get a different flavor out of the beer, depending on how they interact with those 4 things. So today, we want to tell you about the nuts, the inside of the seeds of the hemp plant. This is going to be coming on strong as we go along. You can now buy it. If you can't get it locally in your health food store, or sometimes in some major grocery stores, you can order it at the big order online in the sky place, starting with an A and ending with a Z. You figure it out. But it will be coming more and more to your regular place. We hope to be having them available for sale at our little store as soon as the winter's over. We are talking to a provider right now. And we will be having them, and we will be having all sorts of ways to have them. So I have a veterinary call coming in. That's our Chat Canna for today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a great